If you're tired of traditional good versus evil stories and looking for something that breaks the mold, then buckle in because Joe Abercrombie's First Law trilogy is for you. This trilogy isn't just another epic fantasy. It's a character-driven masterclass with a cynical edge, full of morally ambiguous heroes and unexpected twists. From the first book, The Blade itself, to the final showdown and the last argument of kings, Abercrombie crafts a narrative that pulls no punches and keeps you questioning everything. If this is your first time here, welcome to Mysterious Galaxies, where I review and discuss science fiction, fantasy, and horror novels. It's hard to talk about a trilogy without spoiling certain things, so I'm going to kind of keep it vague and help introduce you to some characters and then the overarching plot. If you'd like to learn more about each individual book, I've recently published spoiler-free videos for each book in the trilogy. The First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie is set in a gritty, unforgiving world where power is constantly shifting and survival often comes at the expense of morality. The story kicks off with The Blade itself, introducing us to an eclectic cast of characters, each with their own flaws and dark pasts. At the forefront is Logan Ninefingers, a barbarian whose days of glory are behind him and who is haunted by the violence that shaped his life. His journey is one of raw survival and reckoning with the brutal legacy he's built. Then there's Captain Gisaldin Luther. He's the epitome of arrogance and privilege, more concerned with winning fencing matches and basking in admiration than facing any real challenge. But beneath his vanity lies the potential for something deeper, something only revealed when the world forces him to confront his limitations. And of course, we can't forget Sandan Glokta, the crippled former swordsman turned bitter inquisitor. Glokta is as sharp in mind as he is broken in body, navigating a life where pain is constant and loyalty is a game of survival. His role within the Union's shadowy Inquisition adds a layer of dark intrigue, making him one of the most compelling characters in modern fantasy. As these characters' paths begin to intersect, Abercrombie introduces Baez, the mysterious first of the Magi. With him, we venture into a journey that it echoes the traditional fantasy fellowship, but with a twist. Baez's motives are shrouded in secrecy, and as he leads Logan, Gisal, and others on a perilous quest, trust becomes a fragile commodity. The stakes in the series continue to rise as the narrative splits into gripping threads. Our companions and the world at large face numerous obstacles as war blazes across the north, and a new power rises in the south that will surely lead to destruction if left unchecked. There are ancient secrets, bitter rivals, and a world that pushes each character past their breaking point. What sets Joe Abercrombie's First Law trilogy apart from other fantasy series? In a word, complexity. Abercrombie doesn't just write characters. He crafts deeply human figures who defy traditional archetypes and refuse to fit neatly into categories of hero or villain. The result? A narrative where each character feels raw, real, and compelling, with every choice pulling them deeper into morally gray worlds. From Logan Ninefingers, the battle-worn warrior who is haunted by his violent past as he is shaped by it, to Captain Gisaldin Luther, the arrogant noble who evolves into something far more layered, and the unforgettable Sandan Glokta, whose cynicism and sharp inner monologues reveal the scars left by both physical and political wars. Abercrombie's cast is unmatched. These are characters who make you question your own empathy. Why do you root for someone as damaged as Logan? How do you end up caring for a torturer like Glokta, who's as ruthless as he is pitiable? One of Abercrombie's greatest achievements is his balance of grimdark themes with biting humor. Unlike many stories in the genre that lean into relentless bleakness or overtly lighthearted elements, the First Law trilogy strikes a fairly nuanced balance. The stakes are brutal, life in this world is unforgiving, and survival often depends on compromising your own morals. But amid all of that, there's a razor-sharp wit that breathes life into these characters and gives the reader room to catch their breath. Whether it's Logan's resigned acceptance of fate, Glokta's sardonic reflection of the life that broke him, or the tense, witty exchanges amongst Baez's unlikely group of adventurers, Abercrombie's humor is a lifeline in an otherwise bleak landscape. And then there's the way Abercrombie subverts classic fantasy tropes. You won't find grand quests driven by noble intentions here. Each journey, whether it's Baez's leading a party to uncover ancient secrets or Glockton navigating the political battlefields of Adua, it's all laced with hidden motives and personal stakes. Abercrombie is a master at weaving these threads together, creating a plot that doesn't just unfold but unravels with twists you don't see coming until they hit you. The trilogy doesn't just entertain, it challenges, it keeps you on the edge, and makes you question what victory or heroism really means. Moreover, the trilogy doesn't rest solely on individual character arcs. The broader narrative immerses readers in a world teetering on the brink of upheaval. The Union's internal strife, the rise of the Northern Wars, the ancient lurking power of the Magi, all builds towards a tension that simmers through each book. And just when you think you've found solid footing, Abercrombie pulls the rug from under you with expertly foreshadowed twists that feel as inevitable as they are shocking. The final book, Last Argument of Kings, embodies this, presenting plot revelations that shift the entire perspective of the trilogy. Abercrombie's world building, it might not rely on grand sprawling exposition, but every piece of history, every battle scar, and every whispered secret adds texture. He's not just telling you about the Union or the North. He's placing you in a story that feels lived in, complete with all its cruelty and reluctant alliances. Ultimately, the First Law trilogy isn't about epic battles or grand quests alone. It's about the personal wars that rage within flawed individuals and the murky line between survival and sacrifice. Abercrombie takes everything you think you know about fantasy and turns it on its head. The result is a series that, while brutal and unforgiving, is impossible to put down. This series is for those who crave character-driven stories and don't shy away from exploring the messy, complicated nature of people. If you're tired of typical good versus evil narratives with predictable heroes and clear-cut villains, Abercrombie's world will be a breath of fresh air, or maybe a gust of gritty realism. Fans of grimdark fantasy, where themes of power, corruption, and survival reign supreme, will find this series irresistible. It's in the veins of work like A Song of Ice and Fire and The Black Company, where moral ambiguity isn't just present, it's woven into the very fabric of the story. But it's not all doom and gloom. Abercrombie's sharp, dark humor keeps the story buoyant, offering moments of levity even as the stakes rise. This series is also for those who appreciate intricate plots laced with political intrigue and razor-sharp dialogue. Superior Glockta's chapters alone are worth the read, as his sardonic wit and brutal honesty paint a vivid picture of a man who plays the game of survival like no other. The trilogy's power plays and shifting alliances keep the pages turning and your loyalties constantly in flux. On the other hand, if you're looking for an escapist feel-good fantasy with clear-cut heroics and neat resolutions, this is not going to be for you. Abercrombie world is brutal, and happy endings are few and far between. But for those who appreciate a narrative that challenges conventional storytelling and embraces the complexity of its characters and the world, the First Law trilogy is a must-read. So if you're ready for a series that dares to be different, that pulls you into the murk of human ambition, fear, and resilience, this is one you shouldn't miss. Prepare to be captivated by flawed heroes, unexpected twists, and a story that lingers long after the final page. Wrapping up Joe Abercrombie's First Law trilogy is no simple task, because its impact on modern fantasy is anything but ordinary. Abercrombie has redefined what it means to write a character-driven epic, proving that flawed, morally ambiguous protagonists can be as engaging, if not more so, than their heroic counterparts. This trilogy stands as a testament to his skill in weaving complex characters, razor-sharp dialogue, and unpredictable plots into a narrative that feels as real as it is relentless. What truly sets Abercrombie apart is his commitment to authenticity. In a world where battles don't just end in glory and victories come with consequences, Abercrombie's storytelling pushes the boundaries of what fantasy can be. The trilogy doesn't just spoon-feed readers happy endings or black and white outcomes. Instead, it embraces the messiness of life and the harsh realities of power. And in doing so, it carves out its own niche and genre, one that's bold, brutal, and unforgetting. If you're still on the fence about diving into the First Law trilogy, I can't recommend it enough. It's not just a series, it's an experience. If you're ready to explore a series that defies conventional fantasy tropes, challenges your perspective on heroism, and keeps you invested with masterful character arcs and dark humor, this trilogy is a must read. Joe Abercrombie has earned his place among the greats of modern fantasy, and The First Law is a perfect starting point for anyone looking to understand why. But guys, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. If you've read the First Law trilogy, share your thoughts in the comments below. Did it leave you as conflicted, captivated, and awestruck as it did me? And if you're about to embark on this journey, prepare yourself for a story that pulls no punches. And until next time, happy reading.